Hey, what's up YouTube? On this video, I'm going to share with you why I ended up quitting my secure union job where I was making almost $75,000 a year. One day I had a coworker tell me something that pretty much changed my life and was the catalyst for why I ended up quitting that job. And make sure you watch to the end, because at the end I'm going to give some tips or advice to somebody who's thinking about quitting their job. Things that I wish somebody told me before I quit my job. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. On this channel, we talk about the mindsets and the skill sets of the wealthy so that you can learn how to manage, protect, and grow your money. If that sounds like the kind of channel and the kind of community you want to be a part of, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button after you watch this video so that you don't miss any of the content that I produce. So I'm a different person than most. I've always been pretty entrepreneurial. In fact, my dad was an entrepreneur. He had his own business when I was growing up. So I got to see firsthand what it was like to be in a family and watch my dad build his business. So I had this example of my father and what to do with being entrepreneurial, and I had the societal norms of the world telling me to get a good job, get a secure job, and then work hard and save a bunch of money and have a great retirement and then retire when you're 65 or 67 or whatever it was. While I was in college, I got a job working for a bank as a customer service representative. It was a great job working for a bank because there was a lot of upward mobility, a lot of opportunity for advancement, and a lot of potential growth. And then I even had a better opportunity when the local utility company was hiring customer service representatives, and they were paying twice as much as I was earning at the bank. Not only that, but everybody told me that if I could get in at the utility company, my life would be set. It was a secure job, it was a union job, it was double the money with significant pay raises every year, and it was a great pension, great benefits. Everybody told me that I was very fortunate to have gotten a job working for the utility company. So I felt like I had it made. I started a family. Then a few things happened to change my perspective. One of those things was I qualified for the 401k. At that point, I barely knew how to spell 401k, let alone how to invest properly or how to pick the right stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and whatever else they talked about. I realized that I had no idea what it meant to invest in a retirement plan or what it meant to even invest. I had no idea what a stock was, a mutual fund was, a bond was, or ETFs, or any of these funds they were talking about, target date funds, and all these other things that they were talking about. I had no idea what any of that meant. So I asked the HR lady, she's like, I don't know, pick this, pick that. I asked a couple of my coworkers, and they said, well, I don't know, we flipped coins, we just threw darts, we put everything in the company stock. Well, shoot, I was even smart enough to realize that that was putting too many eggs in one basket. So I wanted to learn what to do. I knew right away, after having asked several of my coworkers what they did with their 401k or how I should invest my 401k, they had no idea what they were talking about. They basically were going based on chance. I didn't want to leave my retirement, I didn't want to leave my financial future to chance. I feel like I was fortunate enough to have thought about that, and I recognized that I wanted to learn what I needed to do to really invest in my 401k properly. So I decided that if I was going to learn, I'd have to be self-taught, because I never learned about money management. I never learned about investments. I never learned about protecting my money, growing my money, managing my money through school, through my church, through my university. I was going to college at the time. And so I started reading books about money. I started reading books like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started reading books like Multiple Streams of Income by Robert Allen. I read the book Cash Flow Quadrant, and I started to learn the difference between an employee, a self-employed person, a business owner, and an investor. I recognized that I was an employee. Although I was working in a very secure job with fantastic benefits and a very high rate of pay, I was still an employee earning earned income. And one of the things I started to realize was some of these different ideas of earned income versus passive income, active income versus passive income. And I recognized that I was in a more earned income, active income, and I wanted to probably be more in a passive income type of a situation. So my awareness started to grow. I started to become aware of the things that I was doing and the things that were available in the world. And I started to recognize there were some differences in what I really wanted in my life versus what I was actually doing with my life. I realized that financial education and literacy wasn't taught in schools, wasn't taught with none of my coworkers knew. It was all hidden in these books. There's significant statistics that show that most people will never read another book after they get out of school. If all of the secrets to financial literacy and becoming wealthy are all hidden in these books, it's no wonder we have a financial literacy problem in the world today. People just don't take the time. They're too bombarded with everything else going on in their life to really take the time to read a book or to learn what it really takes to manage, protect, and grow their money. So it becomes imperative for channels like mine and other people to know what they're doing to get the word out and start educating people. So one day while I was sitting at my desk on my break, I was reading one of these books. In fact, I had read so many books that several of my coworkers were asking me questions about what to do with their finances. And one of my coworkers came up to me and asked me a question and said, "Hey, Paris, I just qualified for the 401k as well. I'd like to know what to do to invest my money properly." And she said, "I see you reading all these books, and I know you just qualified and you just made some investment choices. I was wondering if you could teach me what you did and teach me what you're learning in these books." And I said, "Well, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm just learning myself, but I'll share with you some of the things that I've learned." And as I went through a few of the concepts, the financial principles, some of the foundational things of proper diversification and asset allocations and portfolio percentages, she looked at me at the end of that and she said, "Paris, I've never been able to understand how these things work until today. You have a gift. You've really explained it in a way that I can finally understand it." And this is a lady that had been at other jobs. This wasn't her first job. She was a little bit older and more mature, more experienced in life. And so this was somebody that was really giving me some feedback from some experience. And she said, "Paris, you have a gift. You should do this for a living." And that was the moment that I recognized that maybe there was something different for me to do in life. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be a customer service representative. Maybe I wasn't supposed to continue up this corporate ladder. Maybe I was supposed to do something different and share this gift that I have to be able to explain these concepts in a way that people finally understand them. And I said, wow, maybe I should. And from that moment forward, I started to look and pursue what it would take to become a financial professional and to get into the financial advising and financial education, financial coaching, become a financial professional. And in fact, I changed my major, and instead I was actually approached and recruited by a financial services firm that told me something else that changed my life that I'll always remember. The recruiter said, "You can go to school and you can learn, and then you can get a job, and then you can earn after you've learned. Or you can come work with us part-time. You can work with us like a side hustle. We'll train you and you can earn while you learn." And I wasn't born yesterday, and I recognize I'd rather earn while I learn than to have to learn a whole bunch and wait and then start earning. So I asked them if I could continue to keep my job so I could put food on the table to feed my family. And I did that I was a financial professional as a side hustle for many years. And in that process, I realized that I really did want to be more of an entrepreneur than to be the corporate ladder guy. So I started to make steps towards doing that. I started to get into personal development and personal growth. And I started my journey of discovery. I started to really truly learn who I was, what my purpose was in life, what my why, what got me up in the morning, and what got me excited and passionate about life. And in the process of doing that, I came across a quote by Benjamin Franklin. This quote really gave me some perspective that I needed. "Most men die at age 25. We just wait until 70 to bury them." I didn't want to be that guy that died at 25 and then just was a corporate asset till he was 65 or 70, retired, and then was buried at 70. I learned at that moment that I had a choice to make. I could build my own business and become an entrepreneur and pursue my own dreams, or I could continue in the corporate structure as a corporate asset, climbing the corporate ladder, building someone else's dream. It just became more and more apparent to me that they wanted to have a robot that was working for them and not a person, not a human being. And that just wasn't for me. That's not the way I wanted to do it. And there was a lot of people that had been there for many years, decades even, and they loved it and they enjoyed it, and that was perfect for them. But I realized that it wasn't for me, and I needed to make a change. I had a funny realization one day when I saw somebody explain what a job was, and they spelled job, J-O-B, and they said that's actually an acronym. It's Journey of the Broke. And I realized that having a job also came with having a boss. And a boss was somebody that could tell you how much you were worth. They could tell you where you should live because you needed to live close enough to be able to get to work. They could tell you what vacations you could take and where and when you can take those vacations. Especially in a union job, if you had the right seniority, you got to be able to pick and choose where you wanted to go on the days you wanted to go. If you had the wrong seniority, you were kicked out or booted from the guy that had more seniority than you, and you had to take the leftovers. And I started to realize that I didn't want to have a job, and I definitely didn't want to have a boss. One of the other funny things that I heard was, what do you get when you spell boss backwards? You get a double S-O-B. I thought that was really funny. And so I realized that I didn't want to have a boss. I didn't want to have a job. I wanted to be able to build my own dreams and be able to pursue my own goals in life. And in all honesty, I was scared to death to quit my job. In fact, it took me many years to finally have enough courage to quit my job before I actually did, because I was so scared of how I was going to put food on the table, how I was going to feed my family. Everything that I was building in my side hustle was literally commission only. In fact, I had a guy tell me once that he would never take a commission-only position because he wanted that salary. He wanted the guarantee of a salary. And I realized that if you think about it, a salary is actually a smaller portion of another man's commission. If you think about what it takes to build a business and to grow a business, and you do marketing and you work hard and you work diligently, you have all the sales come in, and the sales then produce a commission, or they produce an income or a revenue for that company, or profit. And from that revenue, from that profit, from that commission, the salaries are paid of the employees. And so everybody who works within an organization is literally dependent upon some kind of commissionable structure. When I recognized that, I realized that if I just worked hard and I did what I was supposed to do, because I was going to work hard no matter where I went. I have a good work ethic. That's one of the things my parents instilled in me. I knew that if I worked hard, that I would be able to have the results. See, farmers, when they plant seeds, they don't necessarily worry about every seed growing to a full plant. They know that if they plant enough seeds, enough of them will grow to become a plant, and enough of them will be harvestable. They don't have to worry about the seeds that don't ever grow. So what was funny is that I quit. I put in my 2 weeks so that I was going to be able to have my last day on my birthday. And that was my birthday present to myself that year. And I was really kind of looking forward to and excited about it. And as I was going around on my last day saying goodbye to everybody, it was really funny because I had a coworker come up to me and pull me aside. And she says to me, and she was serious. And she says to me, "Paris, I know you have kids, and if you ever need anything, if you ever need to feed those kids, just call me, I'll help." And I thought to myself, these people legitimately think I'm gonna fail. So many of my coworkers thought that I was absolutely crazy for leaving that job behind. We had full benefits, it was union, it was secure, I was making 25 plus an hour. And that's when I realized that most people in life are gonna give you their opinion, and their opinions really just don't matter. A lot of times, one of the greatest fears we have is what other people are going to think about us, what other people are going to think about what we've done or what we're doing or how we look. And what I came to find out is that people are more worried about what you're thinking about them than they are actually thinking about you and what you're doing. And so when I realized that, I didn't really care much what other people were thinking, what other people were doing. I just knew I wanted to do what I was going to do. I followed my passion. I followed my dream. I quit a job making $75,000 a year. And the first year that I quit my job, I made $50,000 in my side hustle. It wasn't as much as I was making at my career, but I wasn't working 50 to 60 hours a week like I was before. I had time freedom. I had more freedom to be able to go to my kids' events. I had freedom to be able to pick and choose when I was going to have my appointments. I had freedom to be able to choose when I was going to work. If it was late at night, it was early in the morning, it was in the afternoon. I had time freedom. Time freedom to me is worth a lot of money. If you've never had time freedom, you don't recognize how valuable it is until you have it. It's one of those things you just have to experience. I'm not gonna lie, being self-employed is a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. In fact, you'll work harder than you may ever have worked in your life, especially if you were working at a job 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week. Some weeks I put in 70 or 80 hours. Some weeks it wasn't. I could pick and choose the hours that I worked though, and I was building something that was for me. It was worth it because I knew that at the end of the day, the hard work that I was putting in, the seeds that I was planting, the harvest was going to be mine. I was going to get to keep it. I was going to get to have it. I was going to get to grow it and build something for myself. So I actually didn't tell you when I quit my job. I quit my job about 17 years ago. My birthday is in November, so it was November of 2004 when I quit my job. And for the last 17 years, I've been self-employed. From 2005 until today, I've grown a very substantial passive income. In fact, my income grows at about 10% every year. And this year, I'm on track to grow my income by about 20%. Where else can you get a job or have a job where you can have a 10% pay raise every year, or even have a potential to have a 20% pay raise in a year? That's the beauty of building your own business. That's the beauty of building something that's yours and that you can have. You can set your own hours, you can set your own work ethic, and you can make as much money as you want or as little money as you want. The fact that I'm earning about 10% more every year means that my income doubles about every 7 or 8 years. And that is power. I'm actually working a lot less than I was in those first few years, and I'm making a lot more money than I was back then. And I have a substantial passive income coming in every month. And that doesn't even include anything that I'm building and doing with YouTube and Financial Self-Reliance. The reason why I'm building my YouTube channel and Financial Self-Reliance is because I now have the time to build something new, to build something else. And I'm excited to be able to bring to you the content of everything that I've learned in the last 20 years of being a financial professional and working with clients, and the experiences that I've been able to help clients get through. But not only that, the experiences that I've had and things that I've learned with my own money. So at the beginning of the video, I promised that I would give some advice to somebody who was thinking about quitting their job and pursuing their dreams. The first thing that I would say is go for it. Don't be scared. I actually took about 2 or 3 years before I really finally built up enough courage to finally quit, and I should have done it earlier. I should have done it sooner. Pursue your dreams, pursue your passions. You're going to get so much more fulfillment out of life if you're doing something that you're passionate about. The next thing I would say on a more practical level is make sure that you have your emergency fund built up. I didn't have a very big emergency fund when I quit my job. Thankfully, I was paid out all my vacation time and all my sick time, and so I was able to use that as a cushion. I worked hard from the day one and I was able to put food on the table right away, but I would have rather had a lot more money in savings looking back. And if I was to give somebody some advice today, is make sure you have at least 3 or 4 months worth of bills in savings before you quit your job. The next thing I would say is make sure that you have a side hustle that you've been doing for a while, that you have a proven track record, that the proof of concept actually works. Make sure that you've pursued this side hustle for long enough to know that you can make money at it, and that it's scalable, meaning that it can grow. If you were to put more time and effort into it, you would be able to build your income faster and grow that income to a sustainable income so that you could sustain your lifestyle. See, if you're doing a side hustle that's only making a couple of dollars a month or a couple of dollars a week, and if you put another 20, 30 hours into it, you wouldn't make much more. That's not the kind of side hustle that I would suggest pursuing. Get involved in something that you can make some decent money at part-time, and then once you quit, putting more hours into it will give you more time to be able to build it and have a full-time income. That's the kind of side hustle that you want to be a part of. The next thing and last advice I would give you before I let you go today is that make sure you have your spouse or partner's total support. My wife was completely behind what I did and why I did it, and she was there for me all the way. I hope you got a lot out of this video and it inspired you to be able to make the changes necessary to pursue your dreams and to pursue your passions, and to do the things that you want to do in your life. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.